Hey everybody, watch me make this cake while I tell you about this dream. Um, so last night I had a dream, right? Someone was bringing me a basket of kittens. There was probably like 8 or 10 of them, all different colors, curled up together on a blanket. Most of them were asleep, but a couple of them were like clinging to the side of the basket, looking out when she showed me. But there was one black kitten in there. And this was the whole reason this person was coming over, was because she had a black kitten. And that was the one I wanted. I saw it for just a second, asleep on top of the pile, and I thought, that one, that's mine. And for whatever reason, I had to go inside for just a minute in the dream. And when I came back out, the woman was gone, and my family was standing there and they had picked an orange kitten, the orange one that had been clinging to the side of the basket instead. In my dream, my whole family was out there, my husband and my 3 young children, 3, 5, and 9. So they're all really small, right? And they hand me this little orange kitten, and they were all smiling, and they had named it even Whiskers. They were so excited, and they told me they chose the orange one because they were thinking of me, and they knew that the orange cat was the one that I would have picked. And I did have an orange cat growing up named Whiskers, and I had him for 18 years, and he was my best friend. And so I remember having two feelings at once in the dream. I was deeply disappointed because I had chose the black kitten, but at the same time, when I looked down at this little orange kitten in my hands, it looked up at me and started purring, and I could feel that it needed me and that it loved me. And in that moment, I thought, oh, well, it's not about the color, it's about the soul inside. It's not this little kitten's fault that it's not the color I wanted. And so I started loving it back, and it was really sweet. But when I woke up, which wasn't long after, I woke up pretty short after that, I was still a bit sad. And that's the part that stayed with me. Because I don't think this dream was really about kittens. I'm pretty sure it's about autonomy. It's about wanting something specific, being promised that specific thing, feeling clear about your choice, and then stepping away for even just a moment and coming back to find that the decision has been made for you. Even if it wasn't made with, you know, bad intentions, it was made with love. The people who did it were thinking of you. And even if what you received was beautiful, there's a particular kind of sadness that comes from not getting to choose. And I guess that's what stuck with me most from the dream. Because I didn't tell anyone in my dream that I was disappointed. I adjusted, I rationalized, I focused on the good, I loved what I was given. And that's something I think all of us do. We make space in our lives for others' comfort. We accept responsibility. We honor our commitments. We love the people who love us. But sometimes there's still a quiet voice that says, this isn't exactly what I would have chosen in this moment. And that doesn't mean that we regret our lives. It doesn't mean that we don't love what we have. It just means that we are human. For me, the black kitten started to represent something else. a version of myself, maybe a more mysterious version still sleeping, the more independent version, the one who answers only to herself, the one that doesn't have to be needed constantly, the one that chooses freely. And the orange kitten represents the life that reached out for me, warm, familiar, loving, full of history. And there's tension there between responsibility and freedom, between stability and spontaneity, between being needed and being self-directed. Then I remembered something else from my real life past. I didn't have just one cat, I had two. One orange indoor cat and one black cat that used to be a stray. They didn't get along at first. They clashed, they avoided each other, but over time they learned to coexist. I have a picture of them sleeping side by side, and that image means everything to me. Because maybe it isn't about choosing one over the other. Maybe it's about integration. Maybe we don't have to blow up our lives to honor the parts of ourselves that feel wild. And maybe we don't have to suppress our longing for autonomy just because we also love our responsibilities. Two truths can exist at the same time. You can love your family and still miss the version of you that was untethered. You can feel grateful and still feel restless. You can choose your life and still wonder about the road not taken. It's not betrayal, that's complexity. And the interesting thing is, earlier today, I had been doubting myself in a completely different area in my life. I was questioning whether I was doing something wrong, whether I was behind, whether everyone else knew something I didn't. And when I looked at the data, I realized I wasn't failing. I've been experimenting and I was learning. I was adapting. I was actually doing something right. It was working. That dream felt kind of like a visual version of the emotions I was feeling at this time. Maybe I don't need to escape my life to feel free. Maybe I just need to stop pretending that the black kitten part of me doesn't exist. Maybe I can build small pieces of autonomy inside the life I've chosen. Stay up late sometimes, create something just for me. Travel alone once in a while. Reclaim small pockets of independence. Because maybe the goal isn't to replace the orange kitten. Maybe it's to call the woman back and say, hey, actually, I think they may need a friend. Maybe both versions of me can exist. Maybe they can even learn to sleep side by side on the same chair together. Maybe freedom isn't about leaving. Maybe it's about forgiving yourself for wanting more sometimes. Maybe it's about accepting that two truths can exist at once. That you can love your domestic life and still give to the version of you that feels untamed. Maybe freedom isn't escape. Maybe it's self-forgiveness, self-acceptance. Maybe it's finally allowing all the versions of you to sit in the same place and letting them rest in peace.